to the DCU Experience. It's been exactly 1 week and 1 hour since we saw you last. Today, with me, back in the podcast, Nick has made his return. I genuinely don't remember how long he's been gone, but he's back, and we're excited to have him. In this week's episode, we're going to be doing a lot of yammering, stammering, yapping, and just general good timery. We don't have something that's super, I would say, structured this week. Not a lot has been happening other than the whole cast, as well as James Gunn, is touring around the world doing the Superman press tour. They were in the Philippines, and then they went to like the UK or something. They're going everywhere. They're going everywhere but here on the DCU Experience. But maybe, one day they'll get their act right and they'll come on. But before we get into any of that, we would like to say that the DCU Experience is sponsored by GamerSupps. If you'd like to save 10% on your next order, go to gamersupps.gg/key issues. Something I need to do, get a refill on my Joe Biden drink, as well as the lemonade I really liked. I need to try a couple new flavors. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. If you want to go get some cups, some drinks, some playmats, some noodles, some ramen, go over to gamersupps.gg/key issues. Thank you for sponsoring the DCU Experience. How is everybody doing this week? Crisis, we'll start with you. How's your week been?
It's been okay. I mean, I've been trying and failing so far to acquire the necessary ID to fly.
Oh, yeah. Tell the people about this whole scenario.
Yeah, so, I don't know if this is countrywide, but, there's an updated standard for your license if you want to fly even domestically. So I drove real ID. You gotta lock in with the real ID. So I drove a couple of hours to my hometown to require my actual birth certificate because a paper copy of it, they did not accept that. So and I tried to no avail to get it on my first try. And so I later went to the DMV because I was like, yo, I know you guys can't get me the real ID, but they're saying there's like an incongruity that doesn't make sense. And when I told them what they had told me at the state trooper's office, they're like, yeah, we don't know why they told you that. We're just going to, change, a couple of things in the system. And they did that for free. So that was a plus.
Let's go.
And so now on paper, once I go in, it should be good to go. Problem is the wait time when I went next to the state trooper's office was 3.5 hours. I'm like, well, I'm just not going to do that. I'll try tomorrow. And so I go in the next day, and it's all day packed. Eventually, on the screen where it tells you, what ails you, what are you here for? The option that I needed was just grayed out on the screen, so it wasn't even available.
Epic.
So today I call closer to where I actually live in the same state. I call the state trooper's office or whatever there, and I'm like, hey, when should I come in? When's is it typically always busy? And this is like a lower population than my hometown, so I'm thinking maybe it'll be half the wait time. Who knows? She says, no, it's always busy. So I'm like, okay, great. So I found what I'm going to do tomorrow, and it's only open that one day tomorrow, only open Thursdays out of the week, is I found just the smallest county close by that is within my state. And so I'm going to try that one, and I'm going to get there early. I think I have every proper document I need now, and it's printed out. It's in physical form, and hopefully I will have my ID, and then I will be able to fly domestically, fly over, and meet the Key Issues boys to see Superman in person. So I'm trying everything in my earthly power to manage that.
Let's go. Let's hope that everybody else doesn't have the same idea as you, and they're like, we're gonna go to the small little one here on Thursday, and it will be quick in and out. Yeah, hoping that doesn't happen, so we can get at least 3 of the 4 of us in the same room. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it happen for True, but Nick, what's been going on with you? I mean, you can reveal as much or as little as you'd like, but you've been gone quite a while. What's going on in the life of the strongest member of the DCU Experience?
Well, before I start, I just want to say that that
at least physically.
Crisis, I'm sorry you're having to deal with all that. It sounds like witness protection that you've been in for years is really kind of putting you through the ringer here. But you know what you got into when you ratted on the mob, so now you're here, and hope that isn't revealing too much about your situation.
They had my family. Okay, it was
Yeah.
complicated. I did what I had to do, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I look like a threat. I don't know
Once
why.
a rat, always a rat, according to the
It's a
mob. So you got to be careful. Do what
it's
you
a
got
good
to do.
point.
No, so for those of you guys, for those of you who are concerned, your boy was dealing with a little bit of a mental health issue, a little burnout, a little bit of anxiety caused by a wide variety of factors. Needed to take a step away from key issues, content creation, podcasting, just about everything to kind of get my headspace right. Did a couple doctor's appointments, got in therapy, did some things like that. But in honor of Men's Mental Health Month, I will tell you that if you need help, ask for help. If you have a good support network, reach out to your friends, reach out to your family. There are options out there if you're struggling. I'm thankful that I have the friends that I have, the family that I have, because stuff was getting pretty heavy there for a while. But I'm back. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm starting back at work again tomorrow. I've been working from home for about a week. Going back in, that should be miserable. Should be perfect for my mental health. But the other thing that really kind of helped me out with mental health is that your boy was able to systematically obtain every single Superman figure. Here we got Superman with crypto. This is hard to find. You're not gonna walk into a Best Buy and find this. This is about a $9,000 figure or $50. Superman with crypto, and that was the only figure that I managed to get. I'm just kidding. I got them all. So we also got Ultra Man. This is a great figure. This also took the level of anxiety I had from the peak down to the valley. Ultra Man. Obviously, we're not quite sure who's in it. He's in the thumbnail. Is he a clone of Superman? Is he from another universe? We don't know yet. Is he Henry Cavill? We don't know. We don't have an alternate head. No information on the back of the box. But no, that was all I managed to get. I'm just kidding. I also got Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor was I wasn't gonna get him. I thought he was gonna go on sale eventually. He'd be pretty cheap. I didn't want to drop a whole bunch of money, but I saw him. You know what I said? I can't possibly hold back. If you got Superman, you need Lex Luthor. It's the arch enemy. He's the villain. He's got a baby kaiju with him. Again, no information on the back of the box, but it does look pretty good. It's a solid figure, and that's all the figures that I got. No, I'm kidding. I actually also got Metamorpho as well. Had to pick him up. I mean, he was part of the wave, So, and that's how I solved anxiety. So, if you guys have anxiety or depression, just spend like $100 in action figures, clears it right up.
Yeah,
That's what I've been up to.
Where's your Lois Lane figure?
Oh, unfortunately, one of the things about Todd McFarlane that he said multiple times is that he does not make a lot of female figures because they don't sell well. So there is no Lois Lane figure yet that has been announced. I'm sure there will be at some point. I think there's going to be a Hawkgirl figure, Guy Gardner figure. There's a Mr. Terrific out there. Haven't got that one yet. Haven't seen it. But when I do, I'll pick it up because I'm a show for figures.
Thousands and thousands of empty jars across the United States with no Lois Lane figure. It's a shame. True. How have you been?
I've not been on any adventures. I've actually been on holiday, so I've been in bed last like 5 days.
Boiling.
Boiling alive?
I've
You
I've had to like peel myself off the bed every morning, but I'm just excited to be back. We had a nice episode last week. No idea what we're going to be talking about this week.
It could be anything. It genuinely could be anything. As for me, also, hey, I'm doing pretty well. I've been just hanging out, waiting for more Superman stuff to drop, and I'm really excited to start making some more key issues videos again, because we just, like yesterday, had our 38th video pass 1 million views, which is pretty exciting and pretty hype and pretty LFG type moment. 38 of those things, which is no small feat for sure. So self pat on the back. It was one of my videos that somebody that we all know and love plagiarized, but I got more views than he did, so suck one, buddy. So yeah, excited to make some more Kyushu's videos. Excited to get some more million view hits, baby. And there's a couple that are teetering on the edge, so maybe we'll get to 40 pretty soon. But that was really exciting news, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm pretty good at making YouTube videos. Maybe we should do that more. But me and Nick have just not been making Kyushu's videos consistently for a while, but we're excited. We're hyped up about the DCU. You did. You were like, "Hey, Garrick, I'm gonna like take an indefinite break on Kyushu's," and then randomly you're like, "I have a video done. Can you send me a thumbnail?" I was like, "Okay, let's go." He's so back.
Yeah, I started reading some comics again. Just chilling in the basement. My mom is visiting right now, and I decided, what the hell? I'll read Forever Evil again. Which, by the way, certified banger. People talk shit on the New 52, but there's some good stuff in there. I really like Forever Evil, mostly because I'm a mark for evil in general. I'm not necessarily evil, but I support it.
Okay. Okay, this is news.
I would say like instead of forever evil, I'm like marginally or like intermittently evil. So I'm pretty excited about that. Plus, it's just a cool thing to watch, like the villains unite together in that book. And David Finch's artwork is awesome. So while I was reading it, I was like, man, this is sick.
Yeah.
Might as well do a video. Might as well turn my pleasure into profit, which I'd actually really appreciate all you guys watching it because it has like 2,000 views, which is nothing. YouTube, if anybody at YouTube's watching, if you look down around where it says "We Need Superman Now," the DCU Experience, you can see directly below it. It says how many subscribers we have, 422,000. That's a good bit. Would you mind showing our content to our subscriber base? If you could do that, it would be greatly appreciated because there's no way in hell over 422,000 subscribers, only 2,000 people saw that Ultram Man video and went, I want to learn about this. It's on you. It's not on me. I'm putting the work in.
I'll tell you this. Nobody uses their subscriptions anymore. It's a lost art. Nobody.
I know.
The subscriber milestones might as well not matter, not to rant on YouTube, but they genuinely might as well not matter because I can't tell you the last time I went to my subscription tab and clicked on a video. It either shows up in For You or I don't watch it. And that's just...
I want it in everybody's For You.
I want everybody. That's why you got it. That's why all the YouTubers are like, smash that like button and hit the notification. The notification bell is the great equalizer out here. But yeah, it's just funny the way that works. Anyway, this is the DCU Experience, not the complain about our lives experience. So let's talk about the DCU. What do we say, fellas? We did get that image of Ultram Man today. So let's start with Ultram Man.
Looks like the Wicker Man.
He looks he looks like the fucked up man. Something happened to him. He maybe got his brakes beat off. He flew into a building or something. A building maybe dropped on him. Who knows? I'm really interested.
He just washed his suit in a different cycle than he was, supposed to, and it came out like that.
I'm really interested in.
I think he just got out of a fight with Baby Joey.
Baby Joey, the realest of all. Yeah, we did have the Baby Joey episode while you were gone, Nick. That was a real pleasure. But maybe we can have another Baby Joey episode depending on what he does. But I'm really interested in Ultram Man specifically because James Gunn has just come out and said, "Hey, this is Ultram Man. He's got a U on his chest," but that really doesn't give us any like actual information. Like, who is Ultram Man? Is he the Ultram Man that we know from the comics, which would be like a crazy thing to do in the first Superman movie? Is he like a Bizarro type thing? Is he something else? What is he?
Yep, he's a clone for sure. We know it. There's really no point in beating around that bush. We know that it's a clone. Or only other option, we know it. The only other option is that it's Henry Cavill, and he did it purely to placate the Snyder cult. And I'm fine with either option, buddy.
Henry Cavill might be the worst decision because you'll have these people still clinging. It's just make a clean break. They don't even
like him anymore.
Yeah.
Putting Henry Cavill in the film would be like the equivalent of the "you up" text that you get, back in college. You know what I'm saying? No, it's a clone for sure.
I wonder though, is he gonna have the same relationship to Kryptonite as Ultraman does? Is he also going to be amped by it instead of weakened by it. I think
Powered by it, could be.
Yeah, powered by it. Because I feel like that would be kind of cool. I'm not sure. Have we seen? Oh yeah, we did. We saw Metamorpho with Krypton. Cage,
Yeah,
right?
we've seen some footage of like him getting blasted in the face, and it's like he's like, "Oh my God, this sucks."
Yeah.
But if he is powered by kryptonite, like Ultraman from the comic books, and we don't get a scene of him crushing it and huffing it like some crack addict, I'm out. Okay, whole movie's crap.
I think between the two options of him being, a lab-grown Superman duplicate, typically Bizarro, filling that role, I think James Gunn alluded to that in an interview recently. Someone asked him, they're like, is this Lex's take on Superman? This is him trying to have a Superman of his own. And James is like, sure, yeah, kind of a typical, trying to dodge the obvious, let's not dilute exactly what he is. But, I mean, we know that the sort of quantum whatever closet that Peacemaker possesses, where that seems to be the gateway where we're going to have two Peacemakers face off. And, James has also described that as a pocket dimension. That's where the other Peacemaker is from. Is it more likely he is a lab-grown, clone duplicate in its entirety? Or could there be an element of, if there's an alternate Peacemaker and an alternate White Dragon, etc., stands to reason in that pocket universe there would also be a Batman, a Superman, etc. And it is a funhouse mirror version of that reality, which would be sort of an easy gateway, literally and figuratively, to Ultraman as we typically understand them. So they're obviously saying, let's say the big kaiju fight that Lex probably also engineered, or the engineer engineered it. Maybe in that battle, Superman gets some, he gets cut or bruised or whatever, and Lex is able to then take that DNA, make a clone. That I think is the most succinct, and the writing on the wall is definitely there. But we know already, as early as the second, fully official DCU project, we're getting alternate universes. Essentially, we're getting evil, or depending on how you look at Peacemaker, a more evil version of the main character. So it's not totally out of line. I could see it. I could see there being reasoning for both possibilities, or maybe a combination of the two.
It would be a surprise for them to go like movie one alternate universe, right? It would be not what anyone was expecting. Wouldn't be a good decision. Well, I say it wouldn't be a good decision. If it was done well, I feel like I'd come back on and be like, yeah, you know what? It was a good decision. This was the only way it could have worked. That piece.
I'll also add, before I lose my train of thought, is James has also talked about a theme of the movie, which has kind of been hidden from the trailers, and James has verbalized this, is it'll be a balance, or it'll show the balance between Superman's Earth heritage and his Kryptonian heritage. And I feel like having it just be a clone wouldn't exactly settle that. It wouldn't exactly touch on that. And as well, I mean, Ultraman's obviously masked. Maybe we got a glimpse of it in one trailer where we see the long black hair. But then also, we've heard Jor-El, and we know who's playing him, but we haven't seen him in any of these trailers. It seems like the Kryptonian angle, outside of the robots in the fortress, alongside Ultraman, those are the two biggest things that are being hidden from us. So I wonder, maybe will he use an alternate universe version of Superman to depict maybe this is Superman literally without landing on in Kansas and having his parents, and would that further showcase the theme of you need both, you need to balance both. But yeah, I mean, is Lex, did he manufacture it? Did he maybe kidnap an alternate version of Superman, and that's Ultraman? I'm curious to see. What do you guys think is more likely between the two?
I think the most likely thing is, based off what we've seen, body composition wise, and we've seen the brief shot of the long black hair. To me, at least, the most simple thing is that it's Katana, whose sword traps the souls of her victims.
We missed you,
and
Nick.
they're just, yeah. I'm sorry, I had to.
No, nobody derails like Nick derails. Let's go. He's back.
Karen Fukuhara, we love you and we miss you. We need you back.
If you want to go on the Kryptonian angles, there are Zod and Eradicator. If you really want to show, then why would you change Zod's name? Eradicator's the only one that could.
Eradicator actually does make a lot of sense because Eradicator is kind of, very similar powers. We just haven't. Obviously he's physically similarly in strength to Superman, but he also has the blast, the heat vision, those types of things. But I don't really remember too much about the Reign of Superman. I probably need to reread that at some point in my life. But I did watch the animated Reign of Superman film the other day, which not quite the same as the comics, but a lot of times things are kept pretty uniform. And in that, I don't remember if this is how it was in the comics or if they just did this for the film. But in there, the Eradicator was like a bodyguard for Superman's body when he was like kind of busted down and broken. And I don't remember from the trailers, I haven't looked too much into it because I'm trying not to spoil anything, but Lex gets to the Fortress of Solitude and finds, I think he's with the engineer and his girlfriend when they're cutting it up. Maybe it's a situation where like the Eradicator's there. It is the Eradicator, and he activates that and takes that with him as like, you're mine. Instead of using you to protect Superman when he's hurt, I am using you to kill his ass. Something like that. So I'm just headcanoning it to throw out other options there. But
what do you think, Garrick?
I think personally that it's a clone. I think that Nick touched on that, and then you gave a pretty good explanation for it. James Gunn has gone out of his way to say like everything bad that happens in this movie is a product of Lex Luthor. So with that in mind, I think it would be more likely that he's out here doing cloning stuff. We know he has a bunch of like metahumans locked away in his sort of like metahuman prison. Maybe when Superman, I don't know. I don't know how he does it, but maybe it's not even like a clone of Superman. Maybe it's like some sort of weird freak that's a whole bunch of different metahumans combined into one to try and make a Superman. If you had a Martian, and you had Metamorpho, you had a bunch of different characters locked up that you could take their genes and splice them together to make like we have Superman at home type thing. I think that would be pretty cool, like a Frankenstein type Superman that's not exactly like Bizarro or whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That would be an interesting concept. Even if they don't go with that, that would be a cool idea of Lex trying to hodgepodge together his own Superman, trying to approximate the powers. But I think since that one still or few frames from one of the latest teasers where we see it seems to be Ultraman without his mask, and all we can really make out is kind of long black hair.
Yeah.
And I think we either talked about this in a prior episode or off screen. I haven't read the storylines because it was New 52 Superman, so maybe Nick, as the New 52 advocate, do you remember Ha'el?
Yeah.
From a lot of people were saying that based on the long black hair, and he's kind of a Bizarro but not Bizarro type character.
No, he was another Kryptonian that had ended up making his way to Earth. I don't think he was a Bizarro character. Unfortunately, Hell on Earth was part of the cursed section of Superman that was written by Scott Lobdell that I'll never forgive. But it was, the art in that series was pretty cool, but I don't think the story was that good. And if it ends up being something like that, then I think most comic book readers would be pretty disappointed because that was not a very well received story.
Well, you just leave it to Jimmy to make it his own, right? I think that the idea of another Kryptonian, just to headcanon it a little bit more and like give my 2 cents, like another Kryptonian having escaped the fate of Krypton, other than Supergirl, obviously, about the same age as Superman, lands at the same time, has a completely different upbringing. And we've seen this in alternate versions of Superman, Red Sun probably being the most famous of those. But having that character be on Earth simultaneously with Superman growing up in a different environment and then clashing with Superman at the end.
Maybe Lex finds him and has raised him, or
they're raised as the, like, Lex Luthor's dad finds him or something, and they're he keeps him in a lab or something. But I think that could definitely be interesting. If you think about, like, the Superman from Flashpoint, similar to that, just being held in a dungeon. But that, at the same time, we just literally got that in the Flash movie with Supergirl. So they kind of already took that and ruined it, that concept. Even if it wasn't, like, part of Flashpoint, it'd be tough to sell that again. Like, okay, we have a Superman or super girl or superwoman type figure that we've found and we've kept, and we've obviously they didn't raise her, they kind of just kept her and tortured her or whatever, but it's still similar. But I think that would be super cool if he wasn't, like, chained in a basement and was actually, like, raised but with, like, terrible ideals and morals from somebody else.
I feel like that's more in line with Gunn than Ultraman just being a Bizarro dumb clone, because the thing about Bizarro obviously is he thinks he's doing the right thing. It's just everything about him is backwards. And I don't know, it seems like the character design, a lot of his movements, like the way he just sort of smashes Superman's face into the concrete, and then obviously the hair metal, black hair, that's a lot more, like, intense, whereas Bizarro is like, and especially how they characterized him in they characterized him in, like, Rebirth per se, is he's just like a big dumb idiot with a heart of gold. Like, he's trying to do the right thing, but because of his composition, he can never live up to the ideal of Superman. Whereas it seems like Ultraman is, like, pissed off, which would, and even they tried that. True, maybe you could talk more about this, but the Justice League Unlimited origin for Doomsday sounds a lot like what Garrick is describing. You want to talk about that?
I was also thinking, if you want to go Kryptonian, Monell, right? Because I assume we're not going to get a lot of Krypton backstory in this movie, and that's probably going to be Supergirl. If you're gonna do that, I think you can Daxon might have this Monell type have it.
You're breaking up, True.
Hello?
Yeah, you're cutting in and out.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah, sorry, my bad. I was saying that I think Monell could be the pick here if they are trying to go for somebody who has some ties back to Krypton or something like that, right? I think that's the way they go.
Okay.
I'm interested. Yeah, I'm interested to see how this Ultraman character plays against Superman. I think James Gunn has been hammering home a lot of the time when he creates a character to go hero, at least in his superhero movies, we get these sort of...
Did we lose Garrick? Oh, there we go.
Am I here?
Yeah, you're here. We cut you out. You cut out right after you said a lot of times when he creates a hero and then it stopped.
Yeah, he'll create a villain that is sort of like a dark reflection of them morality-wise. And we've seen this a lot in comic books where it's more literal, like Flash Reverse Flash. That's like the most literal instance of like a dark reflection that you could possibly get. But if you think about Peter Quill and his father, Ego, they're both these celestial type characters and just have completely different competing ideas of what it means to have power. Similarly with Rick Flag and Peacemaker at the end of Suicide Squad, how do we come to terms with what the American government has been doing? Just completely opposite ends of the spectrum. And here we could get to the point where we're both the ultimate being, essentially, Superman and Ultraman, and how do you wield that power and how is it best used as somebody serving somebody else or serving like everybody, as Superman would. So I'm really interested to see what James Gunn does with these two characters specifically, because obviously Lex is going to be the main antagonist, and him and Superman are going to have those moral battles, I think, for the most part. This character will, I think, definitely be a part of that, in a more literal sense of something similar to Superman that has physically manifested in front of him instead of like a moral quandary posed to him by Lex Luthor. So I think it'll be like the manifestation of both of those ideas, which is really exciting to me. And I know we're all just spitballing like headcanon here, but going off of what James Gunn has done before, that's the kind of stuff that really gets me excited. And I'm interested to see Lex's entire worldview, how it was built, and how he uses that worldview to make decisions in his life, especially when it concerns Superman. I know James Gunn has talked about Lex is basically the I don't want to say like the Elon Musk of the fictional universe, because he's just like, he's so far and above that. Like imagine an Elon Musk times 10, where you've accomplished everything. You're basically the perfect human. You're the richest man on earth. Nobody can step to you. And then somebody just shows up that is just, he's basically better than you in every way. And people just embrace him immediately. So I'm interested to see how all of that unfolds. We have a couple nuggets here or there, but that's the kind of stuff that excites me more than just we're going to see Superman punch Ultraman.
I don't know if we're going to have Lex be like, alien. I don't know if would he want to work with a Kryptonian, right? I don't.
He would
know
use
if that
a
would...
Kryptonian, I think. I mean, that is then, like something that people, like real world, like rich racist people do. They use the minorities to.
Yeah, but I think there's definitely the aspect of Lex wanting to be the one to be Superman, right? So it would be like, okay, if I just got another Kryptonian to beat him, he wouldn't send the same messages in like, oh, I created something that beat you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I think it's the element of control. I think, and that is something that I think will be at the core of the movie, is the idea that Superman, to varying degrees, we're going to see the gradation of superheroes and their autonomy and lack thereof. So you have Superman, who's just a complete free agent. He just responds to people in need. He doesn't, go through bureaucracy. He doesn't have like a channel or anything. Then you're going to get characters like the Justice Gang, who it seems like they are being, their missions, their prerogatives are being funneled through Maxwell Lord. And so they're like going to be superheroes, but they're high up. He's doing extraordinary missions that normal people wouldn't do. And he is also like a black ops agent, under that level of control. And then I think you're going to have
too, right?
That's true. He is technically superhuman. But then you also have Lex, who he operates also sort of as a free agent because of how much control he has. Like he can do whatever he wants. He's got, secret channels. It seems like he's going to be manipulating the government to an extent, or using them as sort of his own force. But you look at Ultraman, who Superman's going to be responding to all these different archetypes and ultimately, I think, rejecting them. He's going to say, this is why a businessman shouldn't control what heroes do. This is why the government shouldn't control what I do. And then Ultraman will be what Superman could become if he invited that level of control. If you give up an inch, they're going to take a mile, and eventually down the road, you're going to have a metahuman that's controlled by Lex Luthor, who, even if you have the best of intentions, some of the people at the top just, they have this, like Garrick described, this pathology of feeling inferior next to somebody like Superman. So you're going to try to make them feel as little as possible. And I think Ultraman's going to represent that, and that'll be the ultimate rejection of that Superman is going to make. He's going to say, this is what they want me to be. This is what I could become, if I don't just sort of go on my own instincts and the principles that my parents imbued me with.
It's interesting when you bring that up because that reminds me a lot of the Major Force cap. Now, it's not going to be Major Force, I don't right, but it does remind me of Major Force Captain. Yeah, they were both by the government,
Right.
kind of left. Dude, just that pretty big dynamic. No, it's not going to. That would be maybe the worst if it was Major Force. It'd be a very random character to the Ultra. But I think it's a dynamic that exists and does already work for these. I wonder how you fit so much thematic depth in, what is it, 2 hours of them going to with the ambition of that Gunn has shown for what he wants to do with the character, makes me think some of these characters will not be expressed fully. I don't know if somebody like Jay or Hotgirl will get a lot of screen time to develop.
I think the engineer might be a weak link between Lex and Ultraman. The engineer kind of just seems like a lackey. Like Ultraman's gonna have the aura because he's evil Superman, and then Lex is the mastermind pulling the strings. But I think the engineer is gonna be probably, like you're saying, the least baked, the least cooked.
Especially because I think it's easy to defeat Ultraman and the engineer in this movie. Both of them could be done forever at the end of this movie. Lex, I truly, truly hope he's like in jail, but then we see a scene of him like he controls the jail and he's got the TV and he's got his entire desk set up in the jail. It doesn't really matter; he can be there if he wants to, type thing, right? Yeah, I'm just hoping Gunn can pull it out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was the defense. That was the defense of the Snyderverse. Is at every turn they knew it wasn't Superman yet, so but he's becoming Superman Man of Steel. By the end, he's Superman, but then in BVS he has to deal with the consequences, and then by the end of the whole universe, then he'd be like comic book Superman in theory, but it would be the end anyway. Like, so. But that's why Spider-Man 2, that's why The Dark Knight, that's why those are the best of those trilogies, because we're done with the training wheels. You can just dig into what does it mean to be the hero as opposed to, trying to become the hero by the end. He slides the trunks on in slow-mo and he steps out. I am now. I am Superman.
Yeah,
I'll tell you who never had to earn it was Katana. She just showed up.
Came out swinging.
Barely even gave any backstory.
I hope there's a scene like that. I hope Rick Flag Sr. says that about Superman. That's how, because maybe some people haven't heard of him. This is Superman, last son of Krypton, blah blah blah. I hope his father carries on the tradition.
Oh, I was gonna say I hope we don't see the origin, but we already have Jor-El cast, so we're gonna see Krypton blown up again.
Do All-Star Superman, where this movie starts. What does it say? Doomed planets. Loving parents, kindly couple. Just All-Star has that's the perfect way to start it and just get it over with.
I think the only exception I would give them is if we get to see a backstory and we see Supergirl in the flashbacks, right? If we see her with like baby Clark, do you know what? Then I'll give it to you. Then we can.
In her movie, I think we're for sure gonna see her leaving and her, because I don't know if people know, like, the dynamic that she's older than Superman technically. I feel
Yeah.
like that's something the audience knows Superman's origin, but I think we're gonna get Krypton exploding in Supergirl in some form or fashion.
Yeah, she also just had like she grew up there, so her relationship with it is a little bit different. And depending on what you could do, you could easily set up some Brainiac-like stuff if you feel like it there, right? But
Yeah.
Or Rogue Bazaar.
please, yeah, that's the last time we'll ever mention that character on the podcast.
I was gonna pick him for the next game.
Yeah?
No.
You want to see the Superman game and the Rogue goes as the villain? I might just skip on out. I might just go.
No, it's the playable main character. That's no good.
Yeah. Anyway,
X to blow up Krypton.
Everyone just sits there silently. Whatever.
I was just checking your audio,
you guys
Garrick.
are
We were having
frauds.
some issues with your audio there, so I was just checking while you were doing that, so we're good.
I mean, we're 18 episodes in. We're still having audio issues every other episode. I'm sorry. It's part of the charm. Hopefully, we won't ever have that coming up soon. But I was able to pump up my microphone here on my end. So hopefully, it sounds better.
This is the soft launch until Superman.
When Superman comes out, it'll be flawless. It'll be flawless.
Post
We'll have
Superman,
transitions.
DCU.
Name one other podcast that didn't need 18 episodes to get the audio right. I mean, you can't do it. Think Joe Rogan started that way? No way.
Hundreds before he got actual good audio.
And he has at least half as many Katana references in his podcast, so
it's probably not even close to half.
Yeah,
I would say over under 0.5 Katana references. I'm taking the under on that, and he's got like 3,000 episodes. I'm gonna be
I'm taking the over. There's no shot he has it.
How many Slipknot references? The Man of 1,000 Knots.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the band.
Oh,
that I'm also taking the under on that.
That one. I'll give you
Katana. You think that's been mentioned on? Somebody go listen to every episode and let us know what the results are on that. We have a lot riding on it.
We need that by next week, by the way.
Yeah, we do need that by next week. So watch all episodes at 500 times speed. Maybe you'll get through the end. But we are coming. Speaking of the end, to the end of this episode, we do have a super chat by our good pal Issa, who has left us $10. We'll put that in the True Supergirl Fund. So that's $10 from them, plus...
I don't like the way that's phrased.
What? What's wrong with the phrasing? The True Supergirl Fund.
We should probably, honestly, if we're being honest, we should probably do the Supergirl, or the True Wonder Woman Fund, since it's going to take us a while to generate this money, and we know that...
we're getting consistent donos every week. Supergirl's not for another year. We'll have plenty of time. And you said
Wonder Woman.
We're already matching every donation. You're doing 50, I'm doing 50.
Times, so I'm taking it back.
Wait, hold on, wait a minute. That's not even true.
I'm kidding.
I'm trying to think if I've said anything mean about Nick so far. Outside of celebrating Swamp Thing being cancelled, I don't think I've said anything.
Cancel it for sure.
All right, Issa asks, who's a villain you need done well in the DCU? For me, it's Deathstroke, Lex Luthor, and Sinestro. Also, a couple Batman villains, since Deathstroke doesn't fall into that category. I'll go first. I feel like
We finally got him. We finally wore him down.
Clip that real quick.
That's my new ringtone.
Me saying that? I never said Deathstroke was a Batman villain.
You're lying. It's on the podcast.
Go watch the prior episodes.
Yeah.
Drew, what are your villains?
Go do it. Go do it. I don't care. You won't find it.
Drew, what are your villains?
Oh, that I want to get done right. Give me Sinestro. And give me
he's just reading
Cersei.
Aces.
No,
listen. Cersei's already not. She's already cooked, man. Pick someone else.
Listen, we can fix it. Okay. Not everything, sometimes you start cooking and like your dough is green. You can turn it around, right?
Yeah,
Give me, and then who else would I even want?
Pick a Batman villain, because he said
I'm never picking.
He gave a few examples plus a Batman villain. So, go ahead.
I hope every single Batman villain is done poorly outside of Bane.
Whatever.
Bane is the one that I'm
Whatever.
still waiting.
Okay, so you picked a Batman villain.
Bane,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you for doing the job. Nick, give us some villains plus a Batman villain that needs to be done right.
Okay. Sinestro's already been taken. I think I've talked about Sinestro a good bit, so I don't need to go on that rant, but he is one of my favorite villains in comic book history. So obviously, not including him. We're probably miles and miles away from this, but if I was going to pick two villains, which I'm going to, I would pick Black Hand from Green Lantern. Would be cool because, I think I went on a whole crazy rant in a previous episode about how doing Black Hand well could potentially set up a really awesome crossover event like Blackest Night. And then ultimately, the one villain that is probably more synonymous with Superman than anyone else. I hate to do it because it's, we've already seen it done in films and it was god awful, is Doomsday. I would like to see a comic accurate Doomsday, maybe that takes time to form, where like you see him periodically over, years of cutscenes kind of busting out of the prison, or, being locked away in the prison suit. Something like that would be pretty cool. And then he just kind of busts out in 5 or 10 years, and then they fight.
Cool. Batman villain?
Oh, Batman villain.
It was part of Issa's whole thing. I'm trying.
Yeah, you're right.
He gave us $10. Do it right.
I would like I know it's generic, and I'm sure if I don't pick it, someone else will. But I would like a more comic book accurate Joker. One that is just a complete and utter homicidal maniac, but still inherently retains the Clown Prince of Crime look and feel, and a bit of the camp that goes along with him.
Flamboyance.
I don't want. Yeah, exactly. I want him to have a little bit of posh, a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of showmanship. I don't need the
a little
grounded,
bit of gold grills, a little bit of purple Lamborghini,
a little bit of all that will make you hurt, or whatever he says. Anything as far away from the Jared Leto interpretation as possible, but something mixed between, the Silver Age and the modern age of Joker in comics.
Boom. I didn't have to say it.
Good answer.
Crisis.
Good answer.
Hit us with the facts. Hit from the top rope.
For the Batman villain, just to get that out of the way, I think Hugo Strange would be a great great one to get right. I really love the story where I was trying to look up the name of it in particular, but the one where he impersonates Batman. He's just so obsessed with him that he wants to kind of recreate him, kind of like what we were talking about between Lex, Ultram Man, and Superman. But I think Hugo Strange is a great character. I think showing even that like Gotham is so twisted that even the people who would presumably fix the super criminals just lose their minds anyway. So I think that would be a great Batman character. Outside of that, I mean, obviously Deathstroke would be cool, but that's been said already. I'm trying to think of a villain, not Sinestro, not Deathstroke. Rogolzar, obvious pick.
Please.
Let's get him in there.
Hector Hammond, all the classics. Like,
yeah.
actually, I do want Hector.
I like Man-Bat. Man-Bat has always been underrated for me. I think he's a cool villain with a lot of potential. DC overall, not Batman. Yeah. I mean, if they did Reverse Flash in the movies and they did he just hates him and does everything to torture him. Because they didn't even bother in the Flash movie. Say what you will, but at least they spared Eobard Thawne, the DCEU. They didn't do him dirty there.
Yeah.
So no, I think obviously Sinestro, Deathstroke as well, but I would add in Hugo Strange and I would add in Reverse Flash to get done right on the big screen.
Hell yeah. For me, personally, I want the rogues. I want the Flash rogues to be in. I want them to be cool. I want them to be done properly. I think that would be sick. I think the Flash has, I mean, they're literally the rogues, and I've said it a million times. I think he's got one of the best rogues galleries, one of the most diverse, and I think it would be very hard to do. But maybe if they were all working together as the unit that is the rogues or whatever, I think you could make it more believable that, like, all right, we've all got our ass kicked by the Flash. We have to work together to do it. I think would be a lot of fun. Outside of that, I don't think Gorilla Grodd is like considered to be one of the rogues, right? So would love Grodd. We're already laying the seeds for that. The big monkey, big brain monkey, really would love to see that. And then for Batman villains, it's Mr. Freeze all day, every day for me. Hugo Strange, another great shout. The Joker, another great shout, as well as Bane. I think a lot of people would say scoff at the Joker, but when you genuinely think about what Nick said, we've never had it, and it's a shame. It's a damn shame. And hopefully we'll get it one day. No more Arthur Flex, no more anarchists.
Jerome's.
Yeah, none of this. Good old clown Prince of Crime. You know, that's what we want, and that's what the people deserve and need. But yeah, Mr. Freeze is my choice. Thank you, Issa, for that $10 donation. And if you would like your question, query, or comment responded to here in the DCU Experience, be sure to leave us a super chat. All donations go straight into True's pockets to get him over here in the United States to watch Supergirl with the fellas, with the boys. And you know what? If True comes over, I don't know how long True's going to be here, but it'll be
I
his
was going to
first
say,
time in America.
don't worry about covering his return flight. We're not going to bother with that.
We're not sending him back.
Yeah.
No, that's all on him. Maybe he gets a job while he's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? He might be detained and he won't be able to leave. Or he'll land and be like, "Get out of here, buddy. We're not letting you in." Who knows with America these days? But if True does come, I think let's talk about this real quick.
True. I mean, I'm an American citizen. They won't even let me fly within the country itself. I gotta go through hoops and ladders.
If True does come, we'll just put it out there now. Take some time off work. Let's hang out a little bit. Like, you're coming over, you might as well stay a while. You know, we can
take a couple.
You go off. We could do a little American vacation, buddy. We can do it all. We can do it up. We can do it big. Yeah.
Couple.
Brew takes America.
Let's go, and we'll document the whole thing and upload it on
British man's first time in America.
On a new
every second.
You can show me all your disgusting restaurants.
Okay.
Your life's about to change. The food we have.
Don't say that before you come here. Somene's gonna track you down.
Also,
true.
Bro's talking like he doesn't live in England.
Wait, hold up, stop. Here we go. I don't even want to start talking about food of the Americans, right?
We're gonna have
you guys have large portions does not make the food good. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't even know what you guys eat, man. It looks like dog food.
Chips,
beans,
we give True a large big gulp, and he has a seizure.
Listen, hook up True with a big burger with bacon and cheese on it, and we're not gonna hear shit about beans and toast anymore. We're not gonna hear.
Do you eat
bacon?
You guys, okay. Do you eat bacon?
I say this right. Beans on toast is actually super underrated. I feel I feel like I'm crazy because I don't know why people make fun of it, but it's like, when you wake up at 2 a.m., right? I guess it's just I wake up at 2 a.m. I've got school in 5 hours, but I don't want to go back to sleep, and it's perfect. Or you wake up for school, right? And it's cold outside. You're like, yeah, let me make some beans and toast. It's just, oh man, When I'm there, I'm gonna say
Somebody had a cabinet and they had 2 ingredients, and it was a roll of bread, like 4 slices left, and a can of beans.
I shudder.
And somehow it became a cultural institution.
I shudder at the thought of what those beans taste like, because I'm thinking like Bush's baked beans, which are delicious. I guarantee those things are flavorless, nasty,
No.
soupy.
Yeah, there are sweet beans are sweet in America, or
Yeah,
like
you guys
hearty,
put
like
sugars in
black
everything.
beans are tasty.
No.
Those are good stuff.
Yeah, those are
Yeah,
like
I'm
South,
gonna bring some beans over.
Central
Hopefully,
American
can I
beans.
bring
Yeah.
food over? Oh,
I'm sure you can.
Small enough container.
I'll smuggle some beans. I mean, I'll take some beans over through customs legally on my way there. Yeah,
That's how we do it here, bro.
Those damn beans. So what? You come over for Supergirl, and us three will fly over for a Detective Chimp movie when that comes.
Yeah, Constantine. That's the way.
Yeah, the Constantine movie. We will be there. So as soon as that's announced, I'll start saving my money.
What if it's
I
announced?
don't even know
week?
what movie would convince the three of us. It would be so much more money for us to all have to go.
Yeah,
to
with
the
the
UK.
travel and stay. Yeah.
I don't know.
John Wick 5. That's what
would-
I'm coming over
I
for.
would do
too.
it.
Yeah.
Something big. I would go over. I want to go visit True anyway, and then we can hang out with Chad too. And then I don't
They
know.
can meet for the first time despite being on the opposite ends of the country, yet still 2 hours away from each other.
All I'm gonna say is every single time I'm like, "Yo,
exactly.
Chad, I'm coming up," and he'll be like, "Oh, I'm in Spain or something." It's never my fault. I've
He's a
said I want to come
he's a
up.
world
He's
He's
traveler.
always somehow not there. It's always real mysterious, Chad. I know you're in chat.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm calling you out. We should
We'll
meet
have
up
to hear
for
Chad's end of the story.
28 weeks.
I feel like we're getting into a classic Crisis True and Garrick rant as we come up to the final hour here. I mean, we can stay and rant.
It's a new dynamic that Nick is not privy to.
He's not prepared for it, and he also is
rambling about
he's a
whatever.
family man that's got responsibility. So if you need to drop
Oh,
out,
I'm prepared to rant. I'll
just let us know. You
give me a topic. Nobody
True
nobody
might be
knows
the
this
most-
shit's
there's never a topic. We're starting on True's ass right now, and we got to talk about Glow. Maybe could take a train down and then hit the ferry. And come over and hang out too. Maybe there would be like a UFC going on. Maybe we could go see Tom Aspinall in the O2 Arena.
Actually,
Now you really want me to go bankrupt.
all I'm gonna say is those tickets are gonna cost more than the flight ticket, so you might want to hold off on that one. Actually,
I mean, we'd be saving money if we saw movies in the UK compared to the States. That would be the
your
the
ticket
cost
prices
cutting.
are ludicrous. Like for me and my friends will all go. It's like 20 quid. It's like I'll pay for my. You
What's
guys
that real money?
Like that's not what's the exchange
20,
rate?
25 bucks maybe if I had to guess.
The problem is instead of popcorn, they just have buckets of beans.
And that's why it's
That's
so
the drawback.
cheap. And
Yeah, because they're like, no one's gonna want to eat this shit, so they'll just be repulsed. They won't come here in the theater.
I've never bought popcorn at the place. We always. I don't know where I learned this from, but
they're also
we'll
black
buy,
and white and silent as well.
It's $27. So
$27 for like 4 people to go.
yeah.
That's insane. It's
pretty
$27 for one person to go in the United States.
I mean, if you get like a 3D IMAX,
The Superman tickets. What do we get? We got like 5 of them. I don't even know how much. It was definitely like $150 or something.
But it's
and we're
worth
getting
it, man.
popcorn. We're getting popcorn.
Look up, baby.
Hopefully they have a
sure.
military discount because my girlfriend gets a discount that we could save some money. It's actually crazy when we go to the theater that's local to us. We're not going to that theater for Superman because it's not IMAX, but when we go there, it's $1 to get a large popcorn with her discount. It's crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's $11.
Crazy how he knows this every single time. Never offers. I show up. He's like,
first of all,
he's 3 bags deep. I'm like, hey, I got a Sprite. And he's like, you can't have any of this.
So Garrick, that's why you send your girlfriend to get movie theater popcorn because she uses her discount.
Exactly,
it's $1.
Right.
That's why I was like, it didn't make any sense. That's not. You're like sending her. You're like, you take my card, honey, and then you're $100 in debt when she gets back with the popcorn.
It's $1. And they gave it to her for free last time she went. So
What?
Thank you for your service.
We need an AMC around here so we could get a quality $80 popcorn bucket. I'm trying to eat popcorn out of Crypto's mouth or something, you know?
Yeah, we're not going to an AMC, so we can't get the Superman bucket, which is unfortunate.
There should be a bucket of Lex Luthor's screaming face, just perfectly.
His bald head, you just peel it open. Yeah. That would be a little
pop the head
feel weird to me.
What is the Superman bucket? Have they shown
There's
that?
it's like Superman. There's a little figurine of Superman in like a popcorn maker, and he's like super heat visioning the popcorn, and it's like overflowing out into the. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. It's a lot better than a lot of these that we be getting. You know, they'll just do anything these days. They'll do anything. It's like you're reaching your hand into Venom's butthole to like eat pop. It's like, what are we doing here? It's no good. You gotta move Venom's tongue out of the way. You get to deep throat him to get the popcorn out. It's weird.
They could have had you reaching into Katana's butthole for the Suicide Squad.
Well, you know.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the DCU Experience.
Oh, so that's too far? I'm sorry, Karen. I mean, I know that we swung it by you, the jokes. She cleared it.
James, if you're listening, I promise he won't ever say that when you're on. We'll only make Venom butthole jokes.
They might.
No, that sounds like a James joke, but yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's another episode in the can. Everyone satisfied?
Okay.
I'm very satisfied. Oh, Chad just mentioned in the chat, and since Chad's a close friend to the channel, I'll respond to this without any donation, I guess. I'll make him pay on the back end, but yeah, 28 years later was sick. It was very good. Go watch it. I don't even think he has
get that director to do the Blackest Night movie.
Alrighty,
okay. I'll wrap it up. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to the DCU Experience. This has been another fun episode. Welcome, Nick, back to the old club, back to the old stomping grounds. We will be back next week, and then after next week, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump 6 days away. Crisis will be in the building, and we will be doing an in-person special spoiler-free review of Superman. True will not have seen it at that point, so we're gonna have to wait a little while for True to see it, and then we will do a complete spoiler-filled super mega episode. Maybe it'll be 2, 3, 4, 5 hours long. Who knows? But stay tuned for that. We will be back next week in the DCU Experience for Crisis, Nick and True. My name is Garrick. Thank you for joining us. We will see you in the next one.